Welcome back. Today I'm going to try to make a plate to flip my omelettes like this one. I don't think they're used much outside of Spain, so it might not look familiar to many of you. They're used to flip omelettes on the pan like this, and also to serve them. And there's always been something about them that bothered me. When you put them on a table, they wobble because the handle, which doubles as base, has such a small contact surface. This is especially noticeable when cutting the omelette. After a lot of thought, I've come up with a solution for this problem, which you can see in this 3D model. A machine handle carved into the flipper itself. I'm going to make it slightly slanted for a better grip. These curved rebates will be made on the side so that we can grab it when it's on the table. Here we can also see that the lid is a little concave, about 3 mm in the center. These are usually made with pine wood, but since I don't have wood that wide, I'm going to glue these two pieces of maple and cherry wood, always a good combination. First I cut both wood pieces lengthwise on my table saw, and now I'm going to make all their faces parallel and give them the desired width with my jointer and thickness planer. Here I'll mark the joint between the two, and after a few final cuts, I'm going to prepare my template to make box joint jigs. As I said in previous videos, this piece should have the same thickness as the disc we're using, and the template will move like this. I made this template on a CNC, but if you don't have one, you can make a template such as this one by gluing pieces of plywood of the desired thickness until you meet the necessary length. I fasten the piece to the template with clamps and start the process carefully. I'll use this technique to join both wood pieces. The bond will be much more resistant and pleasing to the eye. To use this system, you must stop the pieces you want to join on one of the ends, and then the next one on the opposite end. Also, you need to be extra cautious when the disc juts out of the back of the table's lead. Carelessness could be costly. Time to glue the parts together. I applied glue on all the faces of the fingers and applied pressure with some clamps. The joints between fingers should be tight, but not too much. If there is too much pressure because of the large contact surface, it could be impossible to join both pieces. It's also important to make sure the faces are flat. Once the glue is dry, I mark the desired diameter and cut with a jigsaw. Using the same center, I mark the exact place to screw in the lathe faceplate. These screw holes will disappear when I machine the flipper handle. I mount the plate on the lathe and start giving shape to the flipper's upper surface with a roughing gouge. As I said before, this face will be a little concave, about 3 mm in the center. Now it's time to turn the edge. I'll try to obtain the diameter I want with the roughing gouge, and I'll use this bowl gouge to make it curved. As the lathe turns, I'll sand this face and edge with P120 and P240 grit sandpaper. I'll also apply some pure linseed oil all over its surface. I remove the flipper and faceplate. As you can see, the tip of the lathe spindle juts out a little and left marks in the back of the flipper. This will be helpful as I place the flipper the other way on the lathe. For that, I'll also use this homemade chuck, but since its maximum grip diameter is not enough, I'm going to remove these silent blocks. In their place, I'll use double-sided tape, which will help me avoid damaging the finished side of the flipper, and when I attach it, it will also stop it from moving as I machine it. I put the stop tail in place, tighten all the screws and start machining the handle. For that, I'll use a parting tool and bowl gouge. I'll try to give the handle the desired angle to obtain a steadier, more comfortable grip. Finally, I flatten the lower face to make it more stable when it's on a table. It's important to make sure the center does not stick out more than the edge. Here I also sand and apply some oil. Finally, I remove this wooden part by hand. The first few tests in the workshop are successful. I think this will come in handy. The handle is comfortable and avoids the unsteadiness issue I mentioned in the beginning. If I have time, I'll try to post a video of me testing the flipper in the kitchen. Look forward to it.